Good morning, traders. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. I hope you all had a wonderful week. So for the first time in a while, the market has been in a range this week. So we will look at how the market played out and what we're forecasting for the next week. But before we get started, if you'd like to contact us, this is a special announcement I'm going to make shortly. If you'd like to contact us, go to our YouTube channel and go to any of our videos. Under the description, you'll find the contact details. So let's just open one of the videos here so you can see where to find the contact details. So if you open one of the videos there, you'll find these contact details here. So that is the email address that you can use, the phone number. This phone number you can use for both WhatsApp and Telegram. We've got a Telegram channel where we post the live webinar links for these videos. These webinars are hosted live every Sunday at 8 a.m. GMT. If you'd like to attend live, check out the link on our website. That's our trading view link there. Click on it exactly. If you search for Victor Manena, you will not find it. It is V Manena. The profile is V Manena. So the website, if you'd like to book for the course, the next one is going to be the 30th of November. We're going to talk a bit more about that. You can book on our website. So if you just click on that link straight directly, you'll find more details about the course structure, the course timing. You'll find it on the website. Now, talking about the course, it is Black Friday on the 27th. So for the first time in 4 years, we're going to offer a Black Friday discount. Now, to be notified when that discount takes effect, subscribe to the website. You just need to subscribe to the website, not take the course, subscribe so that you can get a notification or an email when that starts. So essentially that will start tomorrow up until Friday. There's gonna be a 30% discount on the full course. So when you get that email, check out on the website, the prices would have a 30% discount, especially on the full course that starts next week, Monday. Only 1 week left for the course to start. Okay, so that email you will only receive if you are a member on the website. So just check that out. Right, so you can also follow our social media pages, all the charts that we post before and after, whether they win or lose, we post them up on our Twitter account, our Twitter page. You can follow us there as well as our Facebook page. So the content on Twitter as well as on Facebook is exactly the same. So whichever social space you prefer, you can follow our charts there. So that next course is going to be from the 30th of November. It is a 2 weeks course, right? It is a 2 weeks course. So live online, so anybody can attend. So when you make a booking online on the website, you get a fully recorded course. So that means when you start attending live, you've already watched the course, you can already ask the questions that you've always wanted to ask. So that is the structure. All right, so let's get started with this week's analysis. As usual, we start with trade recaps. This week, I'm going to do it a bit differently. There hasn't been much in terms of the market move. So I'm going to start from the beginning of the month and look at the structure for all the charts. So what I'm going to do is, for example, if I'm looking at the gold chart, I'm going to look at the structure from the beginning of November up to where we are currently and show the expected next move. So if we're looking at gold here, when we start with the trade setups, I'm not going to repeat it again. So I'm going to start with gold and we're going to go through all the trade recaps from the last week. I'm not going to repeat a instrument. It's going to be the part of the market analysis. Right, so let's get started. Let's look at gold. What was the view on gold? So last week we did a sort of explanation of the relationship between fundamental analysis and Elliott Wave trading. I'm not going to repeat that. So we've already talked about that. So you have seen that we have forecasted gold to make and move to the downside and move to the upside and then to the downside. This was on the 24th of October before the US election. So we did not know how the impact of the elections or even the election results was going to be on the markets. Only thing we have control over is how to look at the structure and the sequence. So this was gold on the 24th of October, and this is how gold has played out. Now, this is the structure on gold. So we forecasted that we're going to get a move to the downside, as you've seen there, a move to the upside, and a move to the downside. We are currently here on gold. Now, gold is currently making a corrective structure here. Right, so let's see how that corrective structure is playing out currently on the current chart. So let's look at gold currently. So we've already got all those moves. What is the expectation on gold? So we've already got that move. Last week we looked at this to be a corrective structure and looked for this one to continue to the downside to complete that move. Now that move is not playing out as yet. So the structure that is currently playing out is still corrective. We're still looking at this as a corrective structure. After this, we'll still expect this one to continue to the downside. So you have to watch this one carefully because there's something very interesting on this one. You don't need to just trade it, take it with a blanket approach that we've got a 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna go to the upside. You have to be clear about the degrees that you're looking at. So I'm gonna go into a bit of more detail on gold. So if you look at this structure on gold on the 4-hour, we're expecting that this is a complex corrective structure here. There's a possibility that we get a bit more upside here on gold before we make a move to the downside. See, so that is the expectation on gold. But this corrective structure may not be all that we need on gold. So let's have a look at this one here. So we have got the 3 waves with a triangle there and a move to the downside. That is the move to the downside. We've got another 3 waves there. That is another push to the upside. Now we are looking for another move to the downside here on gold. So then gold would have completed its structure. If you look at this structure, this is a 3-way structure to the 3-way move to the downside, WXY. Right, so we started with a W, not a W, with an A, B, C structure here. That is a B, C structure in the lower degree. If you look at this one here, that is and it's a WXY structure. It's a WXY structure here. Right, so now here we could have another red degree. But if you look at this structure, this move here is a bit too small. So we could still get this move to the downside, whichever corrective structure we're going to get here. So this can be a WXY on gold. Where are we currently? Currently, we are in the lower degree of the red. So this move that we're currently in, guys, is not the red degree. This move is the green degree. So that means even if we do go down on gold, there's still a possibility that within the red degree, you still get another green degree here, and you get another 3 waves here. So you could still have a lower degree, minute degree here, WXY, and so on here at the bottom. So where does this green degree feature in the rest of the structure? Simple, 1, 2, 3 in the W, 1, 2, 3 in the X, 1, 2, 3 in the Y. What about here? We've got 5 waves here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got a triangle here with 5 waves, A, B, C, D, E, that is in the green degree. You also have another 5 waves in the green degree. So it does not get any more detailed than that. So when this structure is complete, then we expect gold to resume a move to the upside with a possible purple degree that is started here. So this is still a wave 4 on gold. I'll show you the structure now on the website. This is still a wave 4, and we'll be expecting this on gold. So that will be all the corrective structures. That means we still have quite a bit of a sideways move on gold to come, and then upside. All right, so that is gold. So let me just show you the structure in the higher degree here on our website. So this is what members get. So on the commodities, if you look at gold, so that forecast before the elections, just to show you that it is still intact. This was posted, let's see what the date was here. This was posted for September, 2 months before the elections. Okay, so we posted this for our members 2 months before the elections, that we're expecting a move up here, a move down here, and then we're gonna expect a resumption of the move to the upside. As you can see, whatever is happening here, there on the 4-hour is only the wave 4, which when complete, we're still expecting one more up on gold. All right, so that is the structure on gold on the daily. And if you look at the 4-hour, the 4-hour is still so this is actually the latest one. So this is the latest update. So what I've just shown you here is the expectation that these can make a complex correction here in this 4-hour, a move up, and then we still expect downside. So watch out for that in the next coming sessions, how that is going to play out. So let's continue with the rest of our trades recaps. So this structure, as you can see, this is from November the 6th. So that's why I'm showing you the full structure from the November the 6th up to date. So that was gold. Silver was a similar structure. Now, if you look at silver, it was exactly the same. The forecast was that this was going to make a three-wave structure, and we're going to have a move to the upside. We're expecting a move to the upside. As you can see, this is a WX. We expected a Y to the downside. We have now made that move, and we've got a bit of a Y move to the downside here, and it is also starting this corrective structure. Let's play that out on silver, also from the 2nd of November. This was posted on the 2nd of November for members before the US elections. You can see we've got a move to the upside. When that played out, we still forecasted that after that move, we're going to expect silver to come to the downside. We've started a bit of a move to the downside on silver. Let's look at what it looks like now on the latest chart. So that was gold, and now this is silver. Let's look at silver. Let's clear all of this. So if you look at silver, that is the structure that we have so far. As expected, we made three waves. We have made a three-way move. This is the one that we expected for the US elections. It has happened, and now we've got this, and we've already started a move to the downside. So just like gold, we are also making what looks like a sideways corrective structure, and we're going to expect this move to the downside. Can you see the relationship here with gold? So even if this comes down, this is not the yellow degree. We'll still expect this to play out a structure like this, possible bigger three-wave structure here. Then that will be the yellow degree. If I have to draw this one properly, then the yellow degree will be something like this. So even if we do make a drop currently, that's not going to be all the move that we're looking for. There will still be a three-wave corrective structure here and then downside. So just like we had here, just like we have here, so we'll be looking for a WXY move. So just excuse the colors, they're not exactly related to the structures here. But if you look at the structure, that is what we're expecting, and we'll expect this to push to the upside. That is silver. All right, so that is silver. Let's look at Brent crude oil. Before we look at that, so let's just go with it with the sequence from the beginning of the month, as is the structure for this week. So look at Brent crude. Brent crude also, we forecasted from that if you can look at this one, this was on the 29th of October, we expected Brent crude to push down and to push back up here. Now, Brent crude is around this area. Last week, I showed you that we have actually shorted Brent crude with the expectation that it was going to make another move to the downside here like this. Is that going to be the structure? So let's have a look. So it has not gone down. It has actually just made a move. It is making a corrective structure here. So let's watch and see what we're going to get here. So far, we've got a move down. We've got a move to the upside. Let's see how that has played out. That was the 29th of October. Today is the 22nd. So let's see how this is playing out. So we're looking for this one to make this structure and make this structure before we come to the downside here. So let's have a look here. So how did this play out? It is making this corrective structure. That is the live chart on Brent crude. So let's have a look at Brent crude. So Brent crude, as you can see, we did not drop. We had shorted it here. We had made a bit of a move to the downside here. It has now just made this structure. Now, if it is making this structure, it's going to change the structure here. If especially taking the top here and we get this. If this becomes a continuation pattern, that means Brent crude would have completed this corrective structure. 1, 2, 3. If we get a setup and an indicator shows us that we've got a continuation to the upside here, we are going to change the downside view on this one. So, and then we're going to look for this. Why would we think downside here? If we're looking downside, this would be the structure. So there's an alternative here. Now, every time you have an alternative, you must have an indicator that eliminates one direction. Otherwise, you're not going to have a direction. So for example, here, if we're looking downside, this will be the structure. And that move to the downside has to be confirmed at current levels by the indicator. Then we get this move to the downside. So that downside will be completing this corrective structure. So now the question is this the corrective structure? Are we looking to still make one more down to the upside? Or the first alternative, which is these three waves, and that this corrective structure is complete and oil is ready for a move to the upside. Those are the two options. And the only way to trade that is if you get a confirmation at current levels with the indicator that we use. Without the indicator, you will not know beforehand what to trade there, right? So platinum, platinum here, just like silver and gold on the 4-hour, we'll be expecting this one to make three waves down, three waves up, and then platinum to make a move to the downside. So watch this for platinum to the downside. All right. Then let's look at the rest here. This was oil. Next one here is Now, let's look at the indices for a bit. Now, this is the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq, as you can see, October 21, almost 6 weeks ago, we focused that we're going to get a move to the upside here like that. We've made a move around this level. So now this level is critical, whether we're going to get a move all the way to complete the wave 5 or the structure is going to change slightly. So how can the structure change here? If this is not all the move, you can have the structure changing like this. You can have this one as a complex correction here, 1, 2, 3. We start one more move to the downside. We'll look at the current structure to see which one is confirming, and then upside. You can see this is our invalidation level. If this breaks lower than this here, that's going to invalidate it, our upside move. Okay, so let's look at the current structure on the Nasdaq. So far, we've got this move to the upside. Let's see how that has played out. And also on all the indices, if you look at the previous videos, we've already shown that we forecasted that we're going to get a move to from these levels. Acknowledging the fact, obviously, that we expected this wave 5 to play out from here. So even when we were here, we still said we're supposed to get a wave 5 there, but it made one more move to the downside here, and then we are still currently here. So let's look at the Nasdaq, and I'm going to look at the S&P 500 as well. Now, if we look at the Nasdaq here, like I said, I'm not going to repeat these charts if we're looking at them now during trade recaps. We're not going to look at them again when we start with the other charts. So this is the Nasdaq. We focused the move to the upside. It does not look like we're going to have a complex corrective structure. It looks like a strong move to the upside. So that means we're still going to we may still get our wave 5 there. So watch out for this corrective structure to go and complete our wave 5 on the Nasdaq. So it is still bullish on the Nasdaq. So the structure is the same on the S&P 500 as well. We also forecasted the S&P 500 to come from around this level and to push to the upside here like that. Okay, so let's have a look at the rest of this indices here. So that was the Nasdaq. That is how it has played out. This is the Dow Jones Industrial, exactly the same structure as the S&P 500. As you can see, we focused it exactly the same for the S&P 500. We are also currently here. This is the critical area. We want to see what's going to happen from that level. Are we going to continue to the upside for that wave 4? So let's have a look at the Dow now on the live chart to see where we're going to go currently. So if you look at this structure, it looks very bullish still. So this is a corrective structure. We're still expecting this one to continue to the upside. That will be a very nice trade. If you didn't take it from the bottom here, you can still take the last bit of a move to the upside here on the Dow. Same as the S&P 500 is making a similar structure here at the top. So if you didn't get it from the bottom, watch out for confirmation here for continuation to the upside. All right, let's go back to our recaps here. So this is the Dow. That is how it has played out. The S&P 500, as I was just explaining, we focused that it was going to make a move to the upside. It is not completed yet, the move. It is still on its way to the upside. That is the S&P 500. That is how it has played out now. This is the DAX. The DAX structure is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. That is wave 1, wave 2, and we're looking for this one to go all the way for a wave 3. How is that playing out currently? It's playing out very nicely, and there's a very nice trade set up here currently on the DAX for continuation to the upside. So let's look at the current structure on the DAX. Let's look at the DAX. Very interesting structure. So if the DAX just needs to confirm this structure, this could be your trade of the week if you did not get it from the bottom as we've got it there. If you're looking at this here, look for continuation pattern to the upside on the DAX. So the DAX looking very interesting for continuation to the upside. That is how it has played out. So let's look at the rest of the structures. Now the UK 100, this has got to be one of the best trades that we've looked at in this year because we have looked at this continuation pattern for almost half of the year. Since the beginning of March, we have been looking at this corrective structure. We've been saying when this corrective structure is complete, we're going to be looking for upside. Now, you can look at the corrective structure, but how do you know when it is complete? You need to have a strategy and the indicator to tell you when that is complete. And our strategy tells us exactly when it is ready for this to make a move to the downside, or rather to the upside. So here we had a 3-way move to the downside with yellow, W, a pullback in X, and a move to the downside. You can see that this is not in hindsight. We saw this before it happened. So this move to the downside is not the only thing that we saw. We saw this as it was building up this structure. We have been focusing that we are going to get a structure like this, and it's going to make a move to the upside. And if you look at this, this was pinpointed right here. This is where this one has made a move to the upside. We are currently correcting here like this. So we're still expecting the UK 100 to continue like that. So how did that play out? If you look at the UK 100, that is how it has played out, exactly as forecasted. So a move to the downside, a move up here, correcting here. We're looking for a continuation to the upside on the UK 100. So this could be another great trade. We're not there. We are around these levels here. So this could be another great trade for continuation pattern to the upside on the UK 100 in the next coming sessions. All right, that is the UK 100. Now this is Ethereum, guys. I'm not going to go through the cryptos here. For cryptos, look out for the next video on the cryptocurrencies, but you can see that how that has played out. That is Ethereum. We'll look at that in more detail on the cryptocurrencies, that is Litecoin. Let's look at the rest. Litecoin, that is how it has played out. Now, US dollar CAD, I've shown this week, this one last week, how we traded this one from right here, expecting a move to the upside here. This one played out in just a couple of hours. So we didn't even have to wait that long for this one to play out. Now, this is how it has played out as our trade setup. It is now pulling back here. Currently, we are making this corrective structure for downside. Now, if we're looking for that corrective structure, that means we've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3 here. We started with 1, 2, 3. So the bigger structure here is this one. So we've already made the W in the red here. We're looking for another Y in the red degree. So we're currently here. We're looking for CADCHF to continue to the downside after making this corrective structure. And you can see that our trades are pinpointed to the exact price level that we're looking at. So let's just look at CADCHF here and what the expectation here is on CADCHF. So if you're looking at CADCHF, look out for this corrective structure. So this looks too obvious. It doesn't look like it's just going to drop like that. We may get one more up here, and then we're then going to look for this one to come down here. So that is the structure that you're going to be looking for. Look for confirmation for downside on CADCHF. Very good one for the next week as well. Right, so that is CADCHF. Now this is Euro Pound. Euro Pound. You can see that I'm not going with them on the sequence. I'm going with them as per the trade setup from the beginning of this month. So Euro Pound, if you look at it here, you'll see that we've got 3 waves down, 3 waves up, and we were looking for another 3 waves to the downside. We have come down here exactly at this level. We've now made this move. We're currently making this corrective structure here on Euro Pound. Is this going to result in a move to the upside as expected? Let's have a look at the current Euro Pound structure. If you look at Euro Pound here, that is Euro Pound, and that is where we are currently on the 4-hour. We're expecting this one to keep coming down here, and eventually we're going to look for this one to break to the upside. So what does that mean for the pound pairs? We'll look at the pound pairs shortly. If Euro Pound is pushing up higher, we've got a pound as the quoted currency. What does that mean for the pound pairs? So let's have a look at the rest first before we get to that. That is Euro Pound. Let's look at the rest before we look at that. So that is how Euro Pound is played out. A move to the downside as expected, pinpointed around here. We are now currently making this corrective structure. Looking very good. Structures are very clear. Although we have been sideways in the last week, the structures are very clear. So we could be getting some really great trades in the next couple of sessions. Euro New Zealand, one of the amazing trades that we took and focused it from here. We expected this one to come down here and a move to the upside here and this move to the downside here. Look how Euro New Zealand has played out. So we've got Euro New Zealand playing out like that, playing out this 3-wave corrective structure. 1, 2, 3 here. Now we made a bounce here on Euro, expecting this to have ended here. Now it is making this it has made this corrective structure here. It looks like it's still going to make a continuation pattern to the downside. We have made that come down here correctively. Looks like we're going to have, this is the expectation, a bit of a pullback, one more down before any pullback here on Euro New Zealand. Let's just have a look at it. So Euro New Zealand, this is what it looks like. It has come down correctively. So we were expecting this move to have completed here at this level with this impulse. So we didn't get confirmation for upside. There was not enough volume to confirm that. Now tagging lower here invalidates the move to the upside from current level. So we're going to be expecting this, and we're only going to look for upside when we break this low again. Then we're going to start looking for this on Euro New Zealand. Clear structures. Let's look at the rest here. New Zealand CAD, the forecast was for these to continue to the upside, and this is exactly what has happened here on New Zealand CAD. So we've pushed up higher. We currently at this level. So the expectation was for this one to come down here. It is not coming down. It is instead correcting at current levels. Let's have a look at it. The New Zealand and the Audi currencies are looking pretty strong at this stage. So let's look at, this was New Zealand CAD. So let's look at New Zealand CAD. So we have made a push to the upside, but it is not showing signs of a drop. There may be some divergence here, so we may still get that drop that we're looking at on New Zealand CAD with this three-wave structure, and then move to the downside. Let's have a look at the divergence on the RSI here. It's not confirmed yet. This peak is not confirmed yet on the RSI, but we can see that we've made a new price high here, and the RSI looks like it's making a new lower high. So let's see if that is going to result in this one coming down here. All right, what does that mean for oil? We'll have to relate that to the oil structure because there's a CAD in the New Zealand. So there's strength in the New Zealand. Let's see if that's going to materialize on New Zealand CAD. All right, that is what we have there. We're currently here. So our expected structure was that this was going to make a push to the upside here, take this top here, and make a move to the downside as follows with a complex correction here. Can still happen. We need to get confirmation at current levels. Very likely that this structure can happen before we get a move to the upside on New Zealand CAD. All right, let's continue with the rest here. So that was New Zealand CAD. New Zealand CHF as well has pushed up to the upside as expected, but has now made this move here. It has not dropped, just like New Zealand CAD. It is also making a corrective structure back to this level. Is this going to be a continuation pattern for one more up? Let's see how this is going to play out. That is New Zealand CHF. As you can see, did not drop. We've made a passing move to the downside. The structure is exactly the same. It's three waves down here. You've got another three waves up here. The expectation was for us to get another three waves or five waves to the downside. It can still happen. So let's watch this for downside here on New Zealand CAD. So that will be a WXY structure or an ABC corrective structure. So this area here will be very critical in the next coming sessions. Right, so that is CADCHF, New Zealand CHF, CADCHF we've already looked at. Let's go back to our structures here. So the structures that I'm showing you, as I stated, this is all from the beginning of this month. So we're running through all of this from the beginning of the month. Now, this is US dollar CHF, guys. So US dollar CHF, I've shown you last week and the week before how we bought it exactly here. We've now made a move here. We are busy correcting here. Is this going to result in a continuation pattern to the upside? So far, this is what has happened in the last week. We've made a push to the upside after entry there. It is now making a corrective structure here. Now, this corrective structure is going to be critical because we're going to be expecting this one to continue to the upside. Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at US dollar CHF. Now, looking at US dollar CHF, let's have a look at it. So that is US dollar CHF. We've got that impulse. Is this going to make a continuation pattern to the upside? This is the pattern that we're going to be looking at for a trade. Those that did not take it here, you may get an opportunity to take it around this level if it confirms upside according to the indicator. All right, so that is US dollar CHF. Let's look at the rest here. Other one here is US dollar yen. US dollar yen is very interesting. We also looked for it to push to the upside all the way. It did not go all the way. Instead, it made a passing move to the upside here, made what looked like it was making a corrective structure, but it just dropped here like this. Now, what does that mean for the US dollar yen structure? Let's have a look at the US dollar yen structure and the possibility there. Now, that is the move here. So we expected the US dollar yen to go all the way from here. Instead, it did not. That did not happen. But what are we expecting the structure to play out as? So if that did not play out, what we have on US dollar yen, you could be looking at this as a running flat. If you look at this running flat here, look at how this one started. It started with a three-wave move to the downside. So if it's three waves down, three waves sideways, you can still get another three waves to the downside. So if we get a pullback here, it doesn't mean US dollar yen is pushing to the upside. The structure may have changed. WXY. If US dollar yen comes to this level, that will be the first time it comes to 100 in 5 years. Okay, the last time that US dollar yen came around this level was around the time when I started blogging and putting up YouTube videos. This level, so I've not seen this level in the last 5 years, as you can see on US dollar yen. Right, so let's just have a look at the daily here, so just so you can see that we have not reached that level in the last 5 years. Let's just look at the daily on US dollar yen. Okay, you see here the last time we got to this level was with a spike here in the end of in around February. This was the time of the pandemic. But before that, we have never dropped lower than the let's just have a look here. We've never dropped lower than the 99. So as you can see, the last time we dropped around 99 was around 2016, almost 4 or 5 years ago. This was the last time we got to this level on the US dollar yen, right? So this will likely be the reversal area based on this corrective structure. So let's watch and see how this plays out. So far, we are still bearish. That move to the upside that we were looking for, we wanted it to come to this level and still come and give us this. But it looks like it has only made a running flat instead of an expanding flat that we were expecting. That is a US dollar yen. We have made a move to the upside. When it got here, we looked for this one to be a corrective structure, did not play out. Instead, as you've seen, it has now made that structure. Pound yen is playing out inch perfect. We have forecasted this on the 20th. You can't see this clearly, but this is the 22nd of October. Now we expected pound yen to do this, to make this move to the upside here, and then make a pullback here. 1, 2, 3 moves. We've focused it on pound yen, and this is how it has played out. Where we currently, we have made all those moves. 1, 2. We're coming down here with this one, corrective structure here. We'll be looking for a move to continue to the downside on pound yen. So this is the latest update on pound yen. The 3 waves we've got, we've made a move to the downside. Now we're currently here. If you look at pound yen currently, let's look at it. Let's clear all of this and look at pound yen current structure. Let's go to the 4-hour. So this is where pound yen is. So we have made a pulsing move here. 1, 2, this could be a 3 wave. We could take the top here and continue to the downside. So watch that out on pound yen. All right, that is pound yen. CAD yen, we expected this one to come around this level, pull back and continue to the upside. We've only come to this level, and the structure on CAD yen may have changed slightly. I'll show you the change in the structure because we are now dropping here like that on CAD yen. So CAD yen, we've got a move around this level. Then it was not just a reaction that we expected, then it looks like a move to the downside. So let's look at CAD yen. It looks like a very interesting structure. CAD yen. Now CAD yen on the 4-hour, look at the structure, looks very good. Even though that was not the forecast, we've only got a piece of the move. So we are looking at this as a 3-wave move to the downside. We have made a, let's use the green here. We've made a 1, a 2, a 3 complex flat correction there. And now we're looking for this one to make this move before upside. Initially, we were looking at this to have completed the 1, 2, 3, and this to go. Obviously, as you can see in hindsight, this did not go. So if you get a pullback here on CAD yen, you can start taking that to the downside. So the structure will be a WXY corrective structure, and then we'll start looking for upside. That is CAD yen. New Zealand yen. Now looking at New Zealand yen, let's have a look at New Zealand yen. I think we have it here as well. This is New Zealand yen. So the forecast on New Zealand yen was for it to come to this level, pull back for another move to the downside, but we're not really getting that pullback. Instead, New Zealand yen has come to this level as forecasted, but we are now correcting here. We're gonna continue to the upside. Let's have a look at the current structure on New Zealand yen. So before that, let's see how it has played out. We have made a move to the upside. That's the move, and we've now dropped, but that drop is not continuing to the downside. We are now doing this on New Zealand. Taking the top here means New Zealand is still going to make a move to the upside. So that is where we are on New Zealand yen. As you can see, we have made a move as expected from here. We've gone around that level. This looks like a corrective structure. So if we come down here on New Zealand, this will be a move. This will give us a corrective structure for a move to the upside. Very interesting. Let's look at the next one here. That is New Zealand yen. The DAX, we've already looked at the indices. I'm not going to look at them again. The indices we've already looked at. What we didn't look at was the Nikkei. So the forecast of the Nikkei was that this was going to push to the upside. We have now pushed up higher on the Nikkei. Let's see here. I've lost where I was here. Let's just quickly get to the Nikkei again. Just 1 second. Right, so that is the Nikkei. So the expectation with the Nikkei was for this to push to the upside. And this is now how the Nikkei has played out. We've got the move to the upside. Now, the Nikkei is currently here, and we're looking for a continuation pattern to the upside to complete that wave 5. As you can see, we have got that blue structure here, blue degree, 5 waves as follows: 1, 2, 3, 4, and this was our 5 that is now played out. Is that the end of the move? Let's look at the Nikkei currently. The Nikkei, I'm only looking at the Nikkei because we didn't look at it with the rest of the indices. As I said, this is not in exact sequence. Let's look at the Nikkei. This is the Nikkei. As you can see, that impulsive move. So we have now made what looks like just a move to the downside. That does not mean anything. It could be the start of the corrective structure or for a continuation to the upside. So watch the Nikkei to do a structure like this and continue to the upside to complete that wave 5. All right, let's look at the rest of the structure. There was the Nikkei, UK 100 we've already looked at. We've already looked at the UK 100. CADCHF we've already looked at. This is now US dollar CAD. US dollar CAD we looked at before as well. I don't have the before chart here, but US dollar CAD. Let's look at US dollar CAD. So US dollar CAD, just like US dollar CHF, as you've seen there, this was the forecast that was going to make a move to the upside here. We actually had a trade here on US dollar CAD. It is now pulling back with this structure. Is this going to make one more down and push to the upside? That is the expectation here with US dollar CAD. All right. So let's look at the structure itself here on US dollar CAD. So the structure on US dollar CAD, as you can see, this is the trade setup. This is the entry. We've made a push to the upside. We're pulling back. We're still expecting US dollar CAD to push to the upside to complete this 3 up, 3 down, and 3 up. Even if it makes 5 to the upside here, that is still fine. What we're going to do here is just to change the labeling sequence. Right, Brent crude, we've already looked at Brent crude. We've already looked at Brent crude. I'm not going to look at it again. Pound US dollar. Pound US dollar has also made what looked like a 3-wave structure. Last week, I showed how we have sold pound US dollar at this level. It had gone about 200 pips into profit, but now pound US dollar is making a structure like this. I'm just showing you a different color just to show that that was the forecast, and this is the new week, and this is how it's playing out. We have now lost that trade to break even. We've not lost anything. If you remember, we were in profit on this. I showed you exactly how that looked in the live account last week. You can check that out. So that is now broken even. What is the expectation with pound US dollar? Let's have a look at it currently. So pound US dollar could just be making one more up here. It could be making one more up here, one down here, a push to the upside, and then we start looking for downside. How will that be? How is that going to affect the structure? We still have this one as a deeper corrective structure, and this one can still be a 3-wave corrective structure. 1, 2, and a 3 here. Just the same way we've got 1, 2, and a 3 here. 1, 2, 3 here. 1, 2, 3 there. Right? So let's see how this plays out. So even if this structure plays out as follows on pound, it can even play out like this, push up here, come down here for a flat, one more up will still be the structure here. So if I just take this one off here, just look at the red degrees, you'll see that that is the structure that we may have on pound US dollar. That will give us a WXY corrective structure. Remember what euro pound is doing. The expectation on euro pound is that it's going to eventually make a push to the upside. So we'll be looking for the pound pairs to start dropping when euro pound start pushing higher. Okay, that is pound US dollar. Let's look at the rest of the structures here. That is how pound US dollar is played out. So this is where we were last week. We've dropped about 200, 300 pips. This has now made this move to the upside. So back to break even out of this trade, then we'll still be looking for a new entry to the downside here on pound US dollar. All right, so euro US dollar again, and it's another one that we had sold right at this level here, and it's also gone to break even. It is now making this structure. It's not making this structure. Is that going to continue the drop? Let's look at Euro US dollar current structure. So Euro US dollar. Now, if you look at Euro US dollar, this is what we expected here, and that is what we have here as the forecast on Euro US dollar. We'll look at DXY as well. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're looking for another 1, 2, 3 to complete the WXY corrective structure. So what we're seeing here is that this move to the upside may not be complete. So let's see if we're gonna have this one as a move down here. If we get it like this here on Euro, we may still get one more up, and then we start getting a move to the downside. So let's see if we're gonna get this. That is the expectation on the DXY as well. So let's see if we're gonna have this structure, W, X, and a Y on the Euro, and then a move to the upside. Let's look at the DXY. What does the DXY look like? We have to look at the Euro and the DXY all at the same time. Okay, so the DXY has made 1, 2, 3. We looked at this one to have made another 1, 2, 3. So on the DXY, this move to the downside may be incomplete. Maybe getting one more up and then downside to complete that move. So that means you're gonna have 1, 2, 3. So the same way that you're getting 1, 2, 3 in this red degree, you're getting another 1, 2, 3 there. Not like that. So let's have a look at this one. 1, 2, 3 there. 1, 2, 3 there. It's all just going in 3 waves. If I get the yellow degree out, let's get the yellow out. So you can see the degrees clearly. There we go. So all of those red degrees, this is the lower degree. If I have to put in the bigger degree, that is 1, that is 2, then you're looking for upside there. Okay, so we may get a bit of a bounce here on the DXY. That will not be the move that we're looking for. We may get one more down here to come and take this low, because as you can see here, this did not quite take the low. It's not a requirement that it does. It's just that when it takes, it just makes our structures even more clearer. So let's see how this one is going to play out. It does not have to bounce here. We can even come straight here and make a bounce. That is the DXY, just the inverse of what the Euro is doing. So same thing here on the Euro, as I've indicated, one up here like that before a push to the downside. All right, that is Euro, US dollar, and the DXY. And I think that's all the recaps that we've got from the beginning of the year. That is Euro, US dollar, and that is all of them. So what I'm going to do now is go through all the charts that I did not go through here with the trade recaps, and then we're only going to look at that. So let's look at the list here. Euro, US dollar, pound, US dollar, chief, CAD, we've looked at. What we didn't look at was US dollar, AUD, US dollar. Now, AUD, US dollar, we looked at this structure 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we were looking for another 1, 2, 3 to the downside. We actually sold AUD as well here. We've got this one out on break even. As you can see, the market has been sideways in the last week. So AUD, we took it here, and as you can see, we have not gone anywhere in the last week. We've just been ranging here, right? So that means AUD may, as I've said, the AUD and the New Zealand are looking pretty strong for the next coming sessions. So we may be getting this one as a corrective structure for one, and then it's going to take here. So if it takes here, that means instead of a zigzag that we were looking at, this may make just a flat correction like this. It's 3 waves down, flat, that takes the top, one more down, and then still a move to the upside. The structure is still intact, although it is not going exactly as we have forecasted on AUD. Let's see how that's going to play out. New Zealand, we've already looked at. US dollar ZAR, we didn't look at. Let's have a look at US dollar ZAR. US dollar ZAR, the expectation is for this to continue to the upside, to the downside first before a move to the upside. This can go to about 1477 before we make a resume move to the upside. This in this manner. So this is I've shown this one previously that we're looking for this one to get to that blue box and push higher. So we're looking at this as A, B, leading diagonal, ending diagonal rather, and then a move to the upside. So watch US dollar ZAR around 1474 for upside. That's what we're going to be looking at there, right? Pound yen, we've already looked at. Euro yen, we've looked at. Rather, US dollar yen, we've looked at. Let's look at Euro yen. Euro yen has got a very interesting structure. Let's look at Euro yen here. Let's switch everything off here. So if you look at Euro yen, we've got this corrective structure. We're looking at this 1, 2, 3. If there's a clearer structure that can be traded in the next coming session is Euro yen, and the indicators showing that this is going to continue to the downside to give us this ABC corrective structure here, drop to around this level, and then we're going to see what happens from there. Okay, so Euro Yen continuation to the downside. Chief Yen similar, coming to the downside. Look for this corrective structure here for continuation to the downside. But be careful with this one. At this level, we may get a bounce for downside and get this corrective structure, which is going to be an ABC corrective structure as well. So watch that out on Chief Yen. CAD Yen, we've already looked at. New Zealand Audi, the commodities we've looked at. Brent crude we've looked at. Pound Chief, let's have a look at the pound pairs now. We've not really looked at the pound pairs. Let's look at Pound Chief. Pound Chief, just like the rest of the pound pairs, we are looking at this corrective structure and we're looking at this one to start the drop here. When this is done here, we'll look for this to come to the downside. Now, if this downside will be invalidated, we will get one more down, but if this one continues to a point where it takes this top here, that means we're not going to get that move, that big downside that we've been looking for. We will get downside, but only to come take here and continue to the upside. So let's watch this. If we are getting a setup for downside before we take the top, this can come to the downside for quite a big move. So that the size of the move will depend on where the current corrective structure goes. Right, so currently we are looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, and we're looking for this one to continue to the downside like that, provided this corrective structure does not take this top here. All right, that is what we're going to be looking for. All right, so that is what we're looking at here. That is a Pound Chief. Let's just have a look here at Pound Chief on the website. Somebody is requesting to see the structure for Pound Chief. Let's have a look here. So Pound Chief on the 4-hour, this is what we have. That is the structure that you have on the 4-hour. On Pound Chief, we're looking at this structure. You can look at that structure. We are currently in this corrective structure. This is on my 4-hour chart. We're looking for this one. If this takes here, this top, that's going to change the view for this downside, and we're going to still make a one more to the upside here. That is a Pound Chief. All right. Next one is Pound Audi. Now, if you look at Pound Audi, the forecast, our forecast was that this was going to make a 1, 2, and a 3, a pullback, and then we're going to make another 1, 2, 3. That is still a possibility, but we may get this one to be a little bit deeper because we are now getting this as a corrective structure. We may get one more down before we get that upside that we are forecasting. So just like Pound Chief, it is currently in this corrective structure. We're looking for this one to drop for this move, right? So let's have a look at the sequence on Pound Chief, as Pound Audi as well. So just looking at this one here, that is your Pound Audi. The forecast previously, if you remember, we had this one, expecting this one to push to the upside. That is still intact. Only that this is a possibility that this corrective structure, the X becomes a double before we get a move to the upside. That is Pound Audi. Let's look at the rest. Next one is Pound CAD. Now Pound CAD, we've been looking at this one for a while, looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and expecting this one to push up higher to around this level where we are going to short this one for downside. Okay, so that structure will be a WXY corrective structure on Pound CAD. So let's watch this on Pound CAD. Looks like it's coming up here with an ending diagonal, with which we will expect to come to the downside like this. So let's have a look at that. There looks to be divergence here on the RSI. It's the divergence. There's one up here. You can see prices making new highs. The RSI is not exactly confirming, but that is not confirmation yet. So these can keep crawling up higher. This can keep crawling up higher, up to this level, and then the drop. They won't make it obvious. So you need to get an indicator that tells you that this is the end of the move and we're gonna start dropping here. And we're gonna be looking for this one to drop with this move. That is Pound CAD. Right, that is Pound CAD. Let's look at the structure on Pound CAD for those that want to see the sequence, just show you it there. So that is the structure that we're looking at here. Right, so there's a different view here, looking at this one as a 11 string sequence, push to the upside and then downside. Either way, that is all the same bias on Pound CAD. Let's look at the rest here. Pound CAD, Pound New Zealand. Now Pound New Zealand, we're expecting this one to bounce at these levels. Let's see how this one is playing out on Pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand. That is pound New Zealand. So that bounce has not happened as yet. We have not tagged this level here, this low here. We can still tag this low here. Let's see how this is going to play out. We can come down with this move here. We're still expecting this here on pound New Zealand. That will be the trade. That will be the trade to take here on pound New Zealand, not downside. If you're taking downside, you must have a corrective structure like this for downside. At this stage, we're looking for this bounce here on pound New Zealand. But the New Zealand is very strong, so we may not get that bounce. So this can continue to the downside just like this. So let's watch and see. We're going to have to wait for confirmation at this level. AUD and New Zealand are very strong currently. Let's see how it's going to affect the market. All right, let's look at the rest here. Let's get our list up here. Those are all the pound pairs. The euro pairs, we've already looked at euro pound. Euro AUD, we have not looked at. Now, euro AUD, look for continuation to the downside. We've already made this move here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 there. This big corrective structure, complex one here. Now look for this corrective structure. So we've got 1, 2. Looks like we're gonna make a bounce here and make a continuation pattern. So euro AUD is looking long-term downside. Okay. We're looking downside on euro AUD. Let's look at this structure closely on the 1 hour. Let's look at it on the 4 hour. You can see, look at it on the 4 hour. So euro AUD, this structure may be incomplete. We can come down here, make a bounce there, and then come down. So that structure will be this. So if we see euro AUD making a bounce here, we'll be looking to short it here for continuation to the downside. So if euro AUD is dropping like this, let's have a look at pound AUD as well. So pound AUD, that expectation for upside also may not happen. We may just get this one to push slightly higher, come around this level because of the AUD strength, and then we start looking for the pound AUD to drop here. So watch those in correlation as well. So that is euro AUD. Euro New Zealand, we've already looked at euro New Zealand. Look for continuation to the downside, even though we may get a bounce first before we come down. That is euro New Zealand. We've already looked at euro New Zealand. EURGBP, let's look at EURGBP. Let's go to the side on the euros. So if you look at EURGBP, let's see here, 4 hour. So EURGBP, you can see here, we have now made this drop here. We made a push to the upside. We are currently in this corrective structure. We're looking for this to continue to the upside when the corrective structure is done. Let's see if there's any pair that we have missed here. Euro New Zealand done, AUD New Zealand. AUD New Zealand, just like Euro New Zealand, we may get a bounce and continuation to the downside. So let's see here how this is going to play out. No new trade on AUD New Zealand. AUD CAD. Now AUD CAD is showing continuation to the upside up to this level. So watch it up until this level, because at that level, that will be 1, 2, 3, and we're going to be getting this one to get to this level. If we break above this level, that means AUD CAD still has a long way to go to the upside. AUDUSD, strength in the AUD. So watch out for the current corrective structure. If we see this one making a push to the upside, coming back here, that will be a nice corrective structure for a continuation to the upside that is happening at the end of this, above this corrective structure. So above this corrective structure, AUDUSD still has quite a bit of move to go to the upside. New Zealand CAD and CHF we've already done. CADCHF we've done all the indices, Nasdaq, the JAR, Dow, S&P 500. What didn't we do here? The NIKKIE we've done, the DAX we have done. Essentially, this is all for this week, guys. It does not get more detailed than this. So next week, we should really have some great trades to execute. Don't forget our Black Friday special. Check it out from tomorrow on our website. If you don't see it, make an inquiry, send an email or through any of the communication method listed here. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that notification button, drop a like, a comment, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for watching. Cheers. Bye-bye.